Hello again. Hello here, hello there, hello everywhere. So this circle is a little bit different for those of you on Instagram. Hello. We are also live streaming on the virtual campus that I teach at as a mystic mentor. So I am here in Lake of the Ozarks. I am at Maa's place right now, and we decided to go ahead and do our Pisces New Moon circle here while I'm here and stream it to campus and get together because why not? Let's do something different. So here we are, yeah. And I will take just a minute to introduce myself in case anybody is new. So my name is Veena and Maa. I am a moon priestess, an intuitive, a medium. I am a yoga teacher, a channeler of the divine. That's what my name Veena means. And I have been hosting moon circles for quite some time now, probably about 6-7 years plus. I've been doing this as much as I can every new and full moon, just to teach people about what's going on with the moon, with the cosmos, a little bit of astrology, a little bit of Vedic astrology, because that's my jam too. And the reason I do this is I was once that person on the other side trying to learn about all of this too and seeking more about the moon. And so here I am now teaching you about the moon and what's going on. And I always like to start with just a breath or two. I'd like to drop in, it's always good to kind of set the space, set the tone, because maybe we've been going all day and we're just now settling in. It is 8 o'clock on a Saturday night here, so it's probably been a busy day. So let's just start with that, wherever you are. If you can just find your posture, whatever that is, seated or standing, nice hollow channel for the breath, tall supportive spine. When you're ready, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and maybe just loosen up and settle in at the bottom of that breath. We're in a new moon, which is the energy of the earth, the energy of gravity. And we really feel that at the bottom of the breath in what we call our apana energy. It's the opposite of prana. So we're going to do that again when you're ready. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth, maybe with some sound. Just kind of settling in again at the bottom of that breath. Amplifying that apana energy. And we'll do this one more time. Maybe reaching the arms overhead, just taking a big stretch to really open. Deep breath in. Exhale, let everything go. Got it. And just let yourself settle. So we will spend the next 45 to 60 minutes or so just talking. If you are new to my moon circles, I find to just talk for an hour and I tell you what's going on in the cosmos, what's going on with this particular moon, maybe how to align with that energy, some practices that we can do. Tonight we'll actually do some meditation as well, just to help align with the energy. And then if you're on the virtual campus, you can ask questions. Kim is handling the chat, so she can get to you there. And of course, if you have any questions here on Instagram, you can say hi or ask your questions in the chat as well. So I have Cam here. I'll turn the camera quickly for Instagram. Maa is here. This is her place. Maa is going to be drumming tonight. So we have a very special energy for our circle because she will be drumming as we invite in the guides and guardians of the direction. So we will do that in just a moment, but before we do that, I always like to take time just to share some elements that you might want to work with during this lunar portal, during this whole new moon cycle. So the interesting thing about a new moon is we have more time to work with the energy. Whenever we do full moon circles are very popular, but there's only this fleeting passing moment with that energy of that moon. The moon changes signs every 2 to 3 days. So when we're in this full moon, whatever energy it's in, we feel it for maybe 3 to 5 days and then it moves on. However, when we're in a new moon, that is the tone for the entire lunar cycle that we're setting. So underneath this Pisces new moon, we are under Piscean influence for the next 30 days. So, or well, 28, 29, whatever. But we will hit Aries season, right? So we'll come into Aries season during this Pisces lunar cycle. but we will still have Pisces energy influencing when that happens. So I hope that makes sense a little bit. So when you look at a new moon, I actually love honoring new moons more than full. I like the darkness. I like what it represents, this ending and beginning and reset, but also it gives us a little bit of a guide to navigate for the next 30 days. So if you get to know me, you know that I hate calendars, Gregorian calendars. It don't make sense. We talk about today, we should have 13 months because we have 13 moons and we don't, and it just messes things up. So I am very much a person that goes moon to moon, moon to moon, and it just makes more sense with me. So with this new moon, think about what energy does Pisces represent? How can we carry that throughout the lunar cycle? And then maybe some of these elements we're working with under this new moon, we can also work with over the next 3 to 4 weeks if we want to. So I always start with the element of earth, and normally I would have all my crystals because I'd be at home, but don't worry, come equipped with plenty. So we brought examples. But I would suggest working with some sort of crystal healing energy with the new moon. With the full moon, it is of the earth, especially with the new moon. We're working with this earth magic, and so it's good to utilize crystal healing. I would suggest possibly working with amethyst right now. I have a little bit of amethyst here and there, but it's probably all over. Amethyst is that very popular purple stone, and it's pretty easy to get your hands on these days. It's not too pricey, depending on the size of it, but it does amplify your third eye and your sixth sense and your intuition. And right now, being in Pisces energy, we are in a space where the veil is very thin right now. So Pisces is a water sign ruled by Neptune. And Neptune is that planet of dreams and illusion and the metaphysical. And so if we could tap into that right now, we might find that our psychic senses are enhanced. So how could you do that? You could do amethyst on your third eye, laying down and meditating. Put it under your pillow. Hold it while you're doing the meditation. Maybe you have it on your mat during your yoga practice or during a journaling practice or something of that nature. If you're in any sort of spiritual, metaphysical practice, metaphysical healing art, you would maybe want to have amethyst on you to amplify your own abilities as well. So that's one of the stones I would suggest working with right now. The other one would be labradorite. Actually, I wear a lot of labradorite. But labradorite is interesting because it comes from space. It comes from a meteor that's come down and crashed. And it actually connects us to what's beyond this realm of Earth, right? So our guides, our guardians, our angels, our ancestors, our deities, whatever you want to call it, source energy, labradorite helps enhance that connection to those entities and those messages coming through. So another great one to have on you when you're in kind of your metaphysical practices or when you're doing meditation, or maybe you're just seeking some extra support right now. So maybe you need some help from your angels, you need some help from your ancestors. Labradorite is a good one to utilize for that very reason. The other thing that I would suggest working with right now with the earth is anything related to the ocean. So I noticed that Mom had her pearls on earlier today. I'm always wearing pearls, and mother of pearl is almost always on me. You can have, seashells. They're from the ocean. The reason being is Pisces is not just the sign of the two fish, it is the sign of the entire ocean. And a lot of times in the yoga world, this is a yoga campus that I'm streaming to as well, in the yoga world, we talk in the mythology of it about the ocean of creation or the ocean of milk that everything comes out of, right? And so we can think about this time being that portal of both endings and beginnings. We're on the end of winter, but we're on the beginning of spring, right? Spring is just on the cusp of all that creation. We're starting to see that turn now. We're seeing little green grasses pop up out of the ground. We're seeing I mentioned the watercress right now. It's a good time to harvest watercress because it's very fresh right now. So if you're a forager, you might start to see some of those things that you got forage right now. The morels will start showing up pretty soon if people look at morels. So yes, this is a time that we are in both endings and beginnings. So we want to think about that liminal space and what can happen there. And so thinking about that.
So, little known funny fact is that oftentimes here on the place,
Technology.
I have to go because there's a lot of things. I don't fix it.
Yeah,
Can you guys hear and see everything okay?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we just smudged. We haven't missed out much here.
Thank you.
All good. Maybe the smudging helped.
Yes.
So we smudged, bringing in our second and third element, the fire and the wind. I'm sorry. So fun fact for those of you on the transmission that might be empaths, I don't like to use that word as much. It's a very pop trend word now, right? Empath. But for those of you that are psychically sensitive or psychically gifted, technology is not our friend. Sorry, brothers and sisters. I short out things all the time. I pop light bulbs constantly. My fireplace at my studio has been known to turn on and off in the middle of a class for no reason. I'm also a medium. I have mentioned that. And I mean, me and Ma are together. That's some powerful energy. We're both mediums. So, and we're in Pisces. Some energies right now. That's okay. But
Definitely some Pisces stuff go on.
some Pisces things happening. So speaking of Pisces, I mentioned these elements. You know, we have the crystals, we have some smudging material, we have our fire, we have our wind. Water is our fourth element. I always suggest that you drink a lot of water underneath the new moon. Just give yourself a good purification and reset. Maybe you want to work with some essential oils right now. If you utilize aromatherapy, you might want to bring in something like a lavender just to help you rest and stay calm, soothe your nerves. Another one that's really good is peppermint, just to help bring up emotions that might be trapped. Our Pisces energy is known to be a little anxious and emotionally overwhelming sometimes. So if you have emotions coming up under this new moon, because this Apana energy, it brings us into the lower parts of our body, right? The lower chakras, the human experience, the human body. You might feel physical things in your body right now. You might feel emotional things in your body right now. But sometimes those things get stuck in the process of coming out. And peppermint is an oil of buoyancy. So it can help bring things out that we might need to process right now. I mentioned earlier today in class, letting go of what you don't want to carry over into this lunar cycle. And also think this lunar cycle holds the shift into spring. So what do you not want to take over into spring, into this next true new year? What are you ready to leave behind? Something to consider right now.
The moon also for the indigenous people, you know, we talk about women having their moon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When a woman is having her moon, the theory is that our energy runs backwards in the vortex. So we're vortexing backwards for, you know, whoever's on their moon. I don't have one anymore. So.
I'm on my moon right now. I'm on my moon, on the moon, yeah.
Okay.
It is my fault. I'm bleeding, it's my fault, guys.
Anytime a woman is on her moon, you know, actually there are several men even in marriage, right?
Yeah.
They actually, back in the day, we had our own
Red tent.
moon red tent where that's where you went during your moon, because your energy is running counterclockwise, okay?
Yeah.
And the natural way is to run clockwise. So that's very powerful medicine. That is something that, like in Sundance and different things like that, if you're on your moon, you can be in the Sundance circle, because we're creating a vortex that's clockwise. And if a woman starts her moon,
It's messing with that.
it's messing with that. Not that it's bad. It's
just a
strong.
different energy.
We just, you know, you've got to have everybody, one heart, one mind, doing that flow. So yeah, we're just, you know, it just is what it is. It doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it bad. Everybody's just like, oh, my moon, it's a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing. It's a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I know some Indian men who are like afraid of women on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
because it is completely opposite. And there's a lot of theories out there about sweating. You know, there's a lot, people say women don't need to sweat in the sweat lodge because we cleanse every 28 days, you know. So now that theory is changing, you know, but that has always been the old way, you know. And you'll find out that like all of them in training, I mean, if you have a cycle, then it's usually they cycle together. They line up.
And I will say, just on the topic of it, you know, primitively, women used to bleed with the new moon every month. Like, that was spot on, right? But because now we have artificial lighting and we're exposed to different things, EMFs and all kinds of energy, and people have different, like, we work at night and day, and it's just a different, we don't operate by the moon anymore. So women bleed all over any different time of the month, and it's just highly coincidental. I'm bleeding on the new moon. I sometimes bleed on the full moon, and sometimes in between. But it is a time when you are highly intuitive as well, and a lot can come through during that time. So yeah. And speaking of, clary sage is probably the third oil that I would suggest working with during this time. Clary sage is great for dropping you into that intuitive space. But if you are on your moon, it helps with cramps. It helps with that. If you're in menopause, it will help with hot flashes. It helps with hormonal perimenopause. It will help with hormonal balance. And you talk about these two fish in Pisces, right? We talk about a very emotionally imbalanced sign. The fish, I always say of the water signs, you know, you have the Scorpio, you have the crab, you have the fish. The fish is the squishiest, right? Just pure emotion all the time, right? So if you need a little bit of balance, you might want to look at some clary sage right now for multiple reasons, not just for
Primrose is good too.
Primrose is a great one too. Yeah. Mugwort, that would be another one that would be good. Yeah. So those are the four elements, but there's a fifth element, and it's the ether, and it's the space that we're already utilizing. And I always love to do my moon circles in the ether because this is withstanding the dimensions of space and time. It doesn't matter if you're sitting right here in this space, or if you're sitting somewhere else halfway across the world, or you're listening to the recording. It doesn't matter if there's a magical, you know, energy here that actually enhances and grows as time goes on. So people could listen to this moon circle now and tune in a week from now, the energy will feel different because of that, which is really cool. So those are the elements I would suggest working with underneath this Pisces lunar cycle. And then with that, I always like to call in the guides and guardians of those elements and the 5 directions. So tonight we're blessed because Ma is going to be drumming, and I just said earlier, I said I can't drum and pray at the same time. I can't do 2 things at once there. So she's going to be doing the drumming, and then we'll just do a short invocation to bring in those guides and guardians. Whenever you're ready.
So when we drum to the beat, it's a heartbeat. Listen to it. So 4 chambers of the heart.
So taking a moment to welcome in the guides and guardians of the East with their element of air. New beginnings with this new moon, fresh breaths. Also tuning into that energy of the exhale, the release and surrender, Apana. We also sense this dawn of a new season upon us, and shift in energy. And so we take in these new breaths and we nourish ourselves as we thank the guides and guardians of the East for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the South, their element of fire. Fire coming in now with Purva, Vajrapada, Nakshatra, Vedic perspective of this moon. The fires of cremation, the fires of transmutation, the fires always burning within us. We cultivate those tapas now. We use them to help transmute and transform us tonight. We thank the guides and guardians of the south with their element of fire for being in our circle. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the west, their element of water, underneath this watery Pisces moon, helping us to cleanse and purify, creating a holy vessel to create whatever it is our highest spirit is ready to bring through. We trust in these waters of creation, what they're churning for us now. And we thank the guides and guardians of the west with their water for being here tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the north with their earth, our ancestors, those that have been here before us, those that are waiting to come ahead of us. The magic of the earth, crystals, the Palo Santo, everything that we're bringing in tonight. We thank the guides and guardians of the north for bringing it into our circle. And finally, we thank the guides and guardians of the fifth element. We welcome them in from the ether, the Akash, the spirit realm. We invite in the angels, the archangels, the deities, cosmic races, source energy. Doesn't have to have a label. We trust in it, we receive the messages it brings, and we thank the ether along with its guides and guardians for being in our circle tonight. Our circle is even more open than it was before. And I will mention, because we are in the sacred circle, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to say, anything that needs to bring voice, whether it be through digital voice or real voice, we can bring that to the circle tonight. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the cosmos in addition to Pisces season and the Pisces New Moon, because there's a lot happening this particular weekend. We've mentioned a couple of times today that we're moving into a shift in energy for multiple reasons. We have spring coming, we have, the shift in nature, but there's a shift in the cosmos. So a couple of things are happening right now. The first one I want to mention is Saturn. Saturn is our biggest ruler of life lessons. So this is the big daddy principal planet, Saturn. And Saturn is currently combusted by the sun. So this will happen until about March 18th. What that means is it's traveling behind the sun right now. And in the astrological world, when a planet is combusted by the sun, it is muted in its ability to affect us as much, right? So Saturn is the planet of karma. I mentioned my Saturn return not too long ago, right? We go through a Saturn return about the age of 30 and about the age of 60, somewhere around there. And when we're in these times of Saturn return, we're learning big life lessons to put us on a path of where our soul's journey needs to be. And it's important to pay attention to that particular journey when it's happening, right? But also the reflections on the other side of it. So if maybe you're beyond that age of 30 now, or you're beyond the age of mid-50s, 60s, and you've gone through those journeys. And we probably could all raise our hand and talk about that time in our life and what happened, right? But that's when Saturn is in play. that's when Saturn's not combusted by the sun. When Saturn's combusted by the sun, we don't have as much of that divine play into the redirection of our life. We're more in control, and we're in charge right now. And so this is a crucial time to pay attention to your behaviors, to your programming, to the way that you're responding and reacting. And that's also because Mercury moves to Aries in about a day. So Mercury has been in peaceful Pisces and very dreamy and creative and very cohesive. But when Mercury goes into Aries, it's time to go to war. It's very conflicting energy. It causes a lot of clash with the world, right? So right now we need to pay attention in this lunar cycle as to how we behave and how we respond, because we can be triggered very easily because we have over emotional Pisces turning our waters all the time, and then we have the planet of communication and expression in warrior mode, right? So Saturn is kind of taking a step back. Saturn has gone on vacation right now to be like, you get to decide what happens for a while, right? So we need to pay attention to that. New moons are a time of pause. It's a time of darkness. It's a time of turning within, because we need to check ourselves before we get ready to go on this next journey of this lunar cycle. So one big important thing to pay attention to right now. The other thing is this particular weekend, we have Uranus opposing Mars. And this is another big event in the cosmos because it can cause a lot of conflict. And we have to break that down a little bit. About, okay, we have Uranus, we have this planet of innovation and rebellion and revolution, and then we have Mars, the planet of war, the planet of masculine, the planet of taking action, the planet of getting things done. So there's probably going to be some changes with technology that we see in this lunar cycle, because this is setting the tone for the next 4 weeks, right? So Mercury goes retrograde April 1st. These next few weeks leading up to that can be really crucial in the world of technology. I mentioned earlier, as we were just talking, that Elon Musk is suing OpenAI. He made that company, right? And now he's suing it. That's a very Uranus opposing Mars thing, because we're going to war with technology, right? Right now in Russia, not to get political, but Russia is trying to put missiles in space, right? And that's a very Uranus opposing Mars type of thing, because there's this NATO conflict going on right now, right? We have a lot of technology in the world of war now as well. So I'm feeling a little uneasy, to be honest, about this lunar cycle. I think we all need to be very mindful of our own personal bubbles, because we know that energy is contagious. It goes out into the world, and there's a lot of war going on in the world right now. So even more reason to pay attention to yourself, how you're responding, how you're reacting, especially if you're feeling triggered and you're wanting to go to battle about things. Perhaps go to battle in a different way. Be innovative in the way that you fight your fights. It doesn't have to be these old ways that we've been working with for so long.
Work with a little bit of compassion, Take one moment before you go into that battle and just take a breath and think to yourself, this person's trying to survive just like I am. Where are they motivated from? And if somebody is working, it always lands down to fear. It's always fear. False evidence of fear and real. When you deal with somebody who's ready to do battle like that with you, it's operating out of fear. And if you can operate out of love and just see with your eyes, let them see themselves like a mirror without judgment, that diffuses this. One bubble of love from billions of people on the planet has the ability to negate 10,000. Every time. Sadhguru is on a big mission to get 3 million followers to do his forget what they call it, and I'm one of them. I can't think of the wording, but he's got a attunement thing that his goal is to get 3 billion people, or a couple billion people here within a few years, because the power of those people operating out of love will change the power of people operating in fear. So just think about that when you go through this next month, you know. Hey, I'm a warrior. I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm a wolf clan. Man, I'm ready to do battle anytime.
I always say I'm from the South and I can bring it out.
Yeah, let's bring it. You know,
I'm from the country. I can bring it out.
Yeah. You know, the thing about it is do I really want to hurt that person? So how much is this really worth? How much is it worth to you? How much is that battle worth? So that's what you need to do coming into this next mode, you know. I mean, it's, yeah, that spiritual warrior. I would be more apt to go after somebody that was hurting her or one of you than I would for myself. You know, that's my mindset. But that's what a wolf clan spiritual warrior does, you know. We protect our path. Even then, we need to approach the situation carefully. Be your own guide for a moment.
And that's very much Pisces energy too. We talk about Pisces being the fish and Pisces being the ocean, and Pisces. Why Pisces people are artists, because that's how they process these feelings and these sensitivities and emotions and intuition and things that come through. But Pisces is also the romantic of the zodiac. Pisces, I call Pisces cosmic Cupid. They are the most heartfelt, you know, you think about Leo, but Pisces is ruled by their squishy little hearts. And so this is a time to think about that energy with this lunar cycle and lead with a little bit more of a squishy heart. It would be very rare that you would get into a fight with a Pisces. They do not like conflict. They're going to run away. They're going to cry, and then they're going to try to blame it on themselves to let go of it. So people will leave them alone, right? It's not a conflicting energy, yet we have this conflicting energy rising during this time. So it's very interesting. We have to navigate that. We have to be careful with that. But
sometimes we have to battle. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
It is your Leela.
There is a time and place.
Yeah.
And we are getting ready for that. As Aries season comes, it is the season of the warrior, the season of battle, the season of doing things.
You know, what is the greater good? Is what you have to look at. And that's tough choices. You know? It's tough.
So let's talk a little bit about the Eastern perspective of the moon as we start to wrap things up, because I always like to talk about Vedic astrology, and it's just my jam. It just kind of ties into things. And I think that when you get into these worlds, you kind of realize it's same message, different story, different part of the world, right? So we have to take into consideration the Eastern side of the world as well, or at least I do. And this particular moon is in what we call Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. And it's represented by a cremation pyre. So where the body lays on the four-posted wooden platform to be burned, right? But it's not just that, it's also the actual soul's journey is represented in this moon. Why? Because this moon is in Pisces, right? We're in that end of the times. And I think this is 26th of the 28th nakshatras as well. So we're getting towards the end of the nakshatras. So again, we're in this space of endings and beginnings. We're going to have holly and spring coming soon, right? And so this particular moon is saying it's time to let go. And actually last night, the night before the new moon, so the darkest moon, that's Shivaratri. So in Hinduism, they celebrated Shivaratri yesterday, which is the celebration of Lord Shiva, which is the god of destruction and creation, the god of yoga as well, right? And, you know, his energy comes in right now because, yeah, we have all of this change happening in nature. But right now, we have to make space for it. We have to make room, right? You till the ground before you put the seeds in. You don't just go throw them out there willy-nilly. You break the soil. You pull the weeds. Maybe you do a controlled burn right? So there are things right now that we are letting go of. There are maybe people that we're letting go of as we move into a new chapter. There are places that we're letting go of as we move into a new journey. And so this, cremation energy that comes with this moon is also an energy of our soul and where our soul is headed. It's very karmic. It's not just a typical new moon, it's not just an ending and beginning. It's very karmic where we're going from here just because of the setup of the way things are right now. So again, even on the eastern side of the world, they're saying, hey, endings and beginnings are happening. Let go of what doesn't serve. Make space for what's coming along. Trust in that dance of letting go and receiving, right? Trust in the grief. Trust in the process of what comes out of it. Trust in the birth of new things as well. So it's a really interesting energy to pick up right now because we have this ability to create a whole different life. It's not just this lunar cycle, it's this next year that is being handed to us. And what we do in these next 3 to 4 weeks can be really crucial with that energy. So, yeah.
When you start out in spring, that's your intention. That's what you set out to do. And for the yogis, for the natives, for so many cultures around the world, this is actually the new year. This is the beginning of the year. We've got it wrong. Again.
The calendar.
It's wrong again. It should be spring. And for the Native Americans, the Easter, so we shift from the north direction to the eastern direction, which is where the sun rises. And for me, it's the eagles and the raptors that are coming and bringing that spirit with them,
I've been seeing eagles back home in the past few weeks too.
Yeah. And here in Missouri, if you see eagles in the summertime, everybody thinks it's a big deal. Yeah, they raised their young.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
We saw them last time we were together.
They're right back here as crow flies, And so, but that's the beginning. And, the only thing I can tell you is just don't get up fighting. Don't get too cocky with yourself,
Take it
Pace yourself, I've been able to find out that a smart aleck comment gets me a lot farther than a piston does. 60 years worth of learning, but I'm figuring it out. So, and again, don't take life too serious. I've seen so many changes, and I don't want to sound like an old person here because I'm really not, but there's been so many rapid changes in the last 10 years. Okay? And maybe we can just exhale for a moment and inhale and maybe welcome some new good changes. Let's get back down to Mother Earth, and feel that Schumann resonancy, and let's try to get our DNA straightened back out. Because we're losing that. We're losing ourselves with all this. And you know what? Your circle, your little spot, your little piece of the world can change 1,000 lives. Each one of you.
So go forth and create. Create your little circles.
Don't kick ass too much. Create.
Less destruction fire, more creation fire, right?
You've got to, though. Shiva, he's kind of bipolar like that.
Yes.
Yeah. You sit here, you meditate for 10,000 years, and somebody down here pisses him off, and here he comes, and he'll destroy everything in his path so that we can start over. I've done that a few times in my life.
We talked about it earlier today in the yoga class about tapasyas and tapas and fire, and the whole point of a tapasya is to do the hard right thing for the good of all. To do the hard right thing for the good of all. So sometimes Shiva has to come down and make space. And it's not easy for him to destroy all those things that he created, but he knows that those things are not serving anymore. and it's time to create space for something new. So we're going to be in a portal of tapasya. We're going to be in the portal of doing the hard right thing. I don't care. I have drama where I'm at, right? I have drama in my spiritual world, with the yoga world, in my community. And it would be easy to be a snob to those people that are being a snob to me. It would be easy to lean into talking about people when they're being talked about, right? It is the hard right thing to wish those people well. I take that back. It's not hard to wish them well. I wish everybody well. It's the hard right thing to smile at them when you see them in public and say, hey, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well, because you know they don't feel the same about you, right? It's the hard right thing to invite your competition into your community event that you're filling, because you are trying to spread the love of yoga and spirituality no matter what. And so you invite your enemies, right? That's a hard right thing to do. But it's a hard to do these hard right things right now instead of leaning into the trigger, right? Because all this Aries energy is only going to build from here, and pretty soon we're going to have everything in Aries and a total solar eclipse in Aries, and it's going to be crazy. So we have to get ourselves right now, and we have to get ready for that. And we have to do our tapasyas, we have to do our practices, we have to be in the right mindset, we have to be in the right frequency, be in that heart frequency, be in that heartbeat of the earth, so that you are propelling the good of all and your own good world too. It's all connected. It's not easy all the time, but it is something that people do.
When did you say that eclipse is coming?
April 8th. April 8th. So this is the countdown until the big total solar eclipse on April 8th, right?
Yeah.
Pisces is a time of rest. We're at the end of winter. Pisces is a time of meditation. Turn within, focus on yourself, take care of yourself, and from there, it will all work out. It will all be okay. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do just a quick meditation tonight for our moon circle. I actually want to do a quick guided Savasana or corpse pose. This is something we do at most of our asana practices. It is the pose of death to symbolize what we're going through right now, right? And very, very simple. So you can lay down wherever you want to lay down. We will only be doing it for maybe 5 minutes. Because Nasa. Shavasana. And it's always good to kind of move things out before we settle. So maybe just flex and point your ankles or roll them around. Shake out the legs if you need to. Maybe roll the head around a little bit. And let's do a little bit of tension release as well. So when you can, squeeze your hands, squeeze your fists, squeeze your legs, your arms, muscles of the face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take an inhale into that squeeze, and then exhale. Yeah, let it go. Apana energy sinking in. Let's do another one of those. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Head to toe, toe to head. Heart to fingers, fingers to heart. Squeeze out the stress as much as the physical. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Good. One more time. Squeeze everything you possibly can. Squeeze the physical, squeeze stress, squeeze anything you are ready to release. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Good. And just settle. Let yourself rest. Let yourself move into a state of non-doing, non-thinking, surrendering to the exhales, or maybe the space after the exhale, the stillness in between breath. Maybe even slowing down your exhales, or stretching that pause in between. As you lie here now, let this be symbolic of the shedding of what layers you need to release. Maybe there's Some energy you've taken on that's not yours, you can breathe that away now too. Maybe there's some sort of internal conflict or battle going on right now. Can you settle that? Can you surrender that as you lie here? And when you start to release the physical tension more, soften your head, the top of your head, the back of your head, soften the base of your skull, the spaces behind your ears, around your eyes. Release your jaw. Relax your teeth, your tongue, your throat, back of your neck, tops of your shoulders. Continuing to relax through collarbones and chest. Feel your upper back soften. Feel your shoulder blades become heavier. Release any tension from the center of your heart. Let that feeling move out through the arms, through your hands, through your fingers. Feeling the opening of your heart chakra. Continuing to soften through the sides of your body now. Rest between the ribs, your mid-back. Rest the sides from underarms to waist, from hips to ankles. Relax the core of your body. Let your abdominal muscles rest. Soften the spaces around your organs. Begin to feel breath moving deeply past the diaphragm. Soften your low back. Soften your hips. Relax your pelvic muscles. Relax your glutes and your legs. Soften your ankles, heels, feet and toes. Soften your whole body. And as much as you soften your body, soften your energy, let it settle. Letting your guard down just for now. Letting yourself rest in a safe space. Clearing the mind as much as the body. Thoughts begin to settle. Give yourself permission to be in this space a little longer, nourishing the essence of your soul, the journey that it's on. With your eyes closed, let yourself come back to the present. Taking breaths with more control now. And then gently, physically moving the body, fingers and toes. Maybe moving the head around or anything else that you need to move and stretch. Reaching the arms out or overhead to take a deeper stretch when you're ready, bringing in new prana. On your next exhale, gently bring your knees to your chest, giving yourself a squeeze. You reset for your chakras. And then take your time rolling to the side of your choice. Gently coming up to a comfortable seat, blinking the eyes open as you do. Just letting yourself come back. Reset, renewed. It's about 5 minutes. Feels like much more, right? Yeah. Time is relative. What is time? Man-made invention for this planet, for our particular dance with the sun and the moon. But it is a man-made concept, and we can slow it down anytime we want. And Pisces is a liminal season, slowing down the breath, slowing down the space between the breath, slowing down your energy, letting yourself be in conscious rest, which is a really important place to be. We do not get good sleep these days, and our sleep is very ugly when we do sleep. There's a lot of digesting, a lot of processing, a lot of things going on. So conscious rest is key. If we can be in these spaces, 5 minutes of Savasana, for a quick little meditation, something. It can really help to set that tone, keep us in our heart frequency where we need to be with them. So before we seal our circle, Kim, is there anything on the chat, or does anybody have any questions tonight about anything?
Nobody put it in chat. Heather just says that she is a Pisces.
Hello, Pisces. Welcome.
So no questions yet.
Okay.
Someone answer.
Okay, perfect. No questions on Instagram either. Everybody's chilled out. Cool. So that's what I have tonight for the moon, just to share that little practice of rest. And Pisces is ruled by the planet of dreams and sleep, so make sure you're resting a lot. Rest up before this total solar eclipse. A lot of Aries energy coming, battles and challenges and warrior energy coming, so we want to be prepared for that. We want to be that sacred spiritual warrior on our path, right? Not the ego-fueled human warrior. Be the spiritual warrior. So, Maa, if you wouldn't mind drumming us out, we will release our guides and guardians for our final invocation to seal our circle. So maybe taking another deep breath in, deep breath out. Coming back to that grounding energy at the bottom of our breath. We work our way backwards, starting with the energy of the ether, the fifth element, our guides and guardians that reside in those magical spaces. We receive the messages that have been given to us tonight. We continue to receive what needs to fall upon us. And we thank these guides and guardians of the Akash for always being here to guide us on our journey. We also thank the guides and guardians of the North, their earth elements. So much magic here on this planet that we have to work with. Also thanking our ancestors, the wisdom that they're giving us. Also the ancestors waiting to come here now, guiding us to prepare this planet for what's ahead. We thank our guides and guardians of the North tonight. We also thank the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water, helping to purify us, helping to wash away what doesn't serve, helping us to move into the spaces of our psychic intuition, magic that resides within. We thank the guides and guardians of the West for being here tonight. We also thank the guides and guardians of the South, their element of fire, fire of the cremation, burning away that version of us that no longer serves, burning away what no longer needs to grow, helping us to control this process of our own evolution. We thank the guides and guardians of the South for being here. We also thank the guides and guardians of the East, their element of air, bringing in both prana and apana with our breath, helping us to both destroy and create in every moment's notice, helping us to move out of our heart frequency, helping us to trust in every new beginning. We thank the guides and guardians of the East for being here tonight. With that, our circle is closed. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you're here online or watching the replay. Thank you for tuning in. We will hopefully meet again for the full moon coming up on March 24th, 25th. There is an eclipse coming. A P numeral lunar eclipse will be arriving with that full moon in Libra. I'm a Libra, so I get excited about the full. You're a Libra to Libra, Libra's the house. I said earlier, Libras gravitate towards one another. It's a weird air thing. Geminis too. It's an air sign thing, gravitate. But yeah, that is our plan to meet again with the full moon, so we'll have updates about that soon. But I always just like to end our circle with a deep breath, so I'm going to take that deep breath now. And just leave you with the mantra Loka Samasta Sukhina Bhavantu. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all feel safe and at peace. And may we all feel loved, be loved, and love one another. And so it is, and so it already is happening, and so it mote be.